The crystal chandeliers blazed overhead as Lady Beatrice Thornwell stood at the edge of the ballroom. Her hands twisted the ivory fan until her knuckles turned white. The music swirled through the air like mockery. Every note seemed to whisper the same cruel truth. No one would ask her to dance. Not tonight. Not ever. Poor creature, a voice drifted from behind a marble column. 25 years old and still unmarried. What a burden to her family. Beatrice's cheeks burned. She knew that voice. Lady Pemberton. The woman never missed a chance to wound. I heard her father lost everything at the gaming tables, another woman replied. The Thornwells have nothing left but their name. And even that is tarnished now. The fan snapped in Beatrice's grip. A thin crack split down the middle. She stared at the broken pieces. Just like her life. Just like her hopes. Just like everything her father had touched. Her sister Lavinia glided past in a cloud of blue silk. Men swarmed around her like bees to honey. Lavinia was 19. Beautiful. Perfect. Everything Beatrice was not. Beatrice, do try not to lurk in corners, her stepmother hissed, appearing at her elbow. You make us all look desperate. Yes, stepmother, Beatrice whispered. And fix your face. That pinched expression does you no favors. Though I suppose nothing would help much at this point. The words landed like blows. Beatrice had heard them all before. Too plain, too old, too poor, too much of a burden. The list grew longer every day. She watched Lavinia laugh and twirl. Her sister caught her eye across the ballroom. For a moment, something like pity flickered there. Then Lavinia looked away. Even her own sister could not bear to acknowledge her. The evening dragged on like torture. Beatrice stood against the wall as dance after dance began and ended. Her feet stayed still while everyone else moved. Her card stayed empty while others filled. She became part of the furniture, another decoration that no one noticed. Miss Thornwell, a voice cut through her misery. She looked up. Lord Harrison Blackwood stood before her, the Duke of Ashcroft, the most powerful man in England. Dark hair, cold gray eyes, a face carved from stone. He never smiled, never spoke unless necessary. Rumors followed him like shadows. His wife had died 3 years ago. Some said from sadness, some said from neglect. All agreed he was dangerous in his grief. Your Grace. Beatrice managed to curtsy. Her legs felt like water. I have been watching you, he said. His voice was low, controlled. It sent shivers down her spine. I apologize if I have offended, she stammered. You have not. He studied her with those cold eyes. Tell me, do you wish to dance? Her heart hammered. Was this a cruel joke? Men like him did not ask women like her. Not ever. Not even out of pity. Yes, Your Grace. Then dance with another man, he said. She blinked. I beg your pardon? You heard me correctly. I dare you to dance with another man tonight. His mouth curved in something that was not quite a smile. Any man. Choose one. Beatrice looked around the ballroom. Every man was occupied. Every man was dancing with someone else. Someone beautiful. Someone worthy. I fear that would be difficult, she said quietly. Exactly. He leaned closer. His breath stirred the air near her ear. You cannot, because no one will ask you. Is that not right? Shame flooded through her, hot and thick. She wanted to run, to disappear, to sink through the floor. You are cruel, Your Grace, she whispered. I am honest, he straightened. But I will make it interesting. Dance with another man before midnight, and I will settle your father's debts. All of them. She gasped. You cannot be serious. I never jest about money. His eyes glittered. Those are my terms. Find a partner, or accept that you are as unwanted as everyone believes." He walked away. His tall form cut through the crowd like a knife. People parted for him, bowed to him, feared him, and he had just destroyed her with words alone. Beatrice stood frozen. Her mind raced. Her father's debts were crushing them. They would lose the house soon, lose everything. If the Duke truly meant his offer, it could save them all. But how could she find a partner? Who would dance with her? She took a breath, straightened her shoulders. She had to try. For her family, for her father, for the faint hope that maybe, just maybe, one man might show her kindness. Lord Edmund Crawford stood near the refreshment table. He was young, pleasant, not cruel like the others. Beatrice had spoken with him once at a garden party. He had seemed kind enough. She walked toward him. Each step felt like climbing a mountain. Her pulse thundered in her ears. She rehearsed the words. Could she truly do this? Could she ask a man to dance? "Lord Crawford," she said. He turned. His smile froze when he saw her. "Miss Thornwell, what a surprise. I wondered if you might, that is, I hoped." The words stuck in her throat. "Yes?" He looked uncomfortable. "Would you honor me with a dance?" His face went red, then pale. He glanced around as if searching for escape. "I am promised to Miss Waverley for the next set. I apologize." "Of course." Humiliation burned through her. "Forgive me." She retreated. Her eyes stung, but she would not cry. Not here, not where everyone could see. She tried again. "Lord Pemberton." He laughed in her face. She tried again. "Mr. Hertford." He pretended not to hear her. She tried again. "Captain Reynolds." He walked away without a word. Each rejection was a knife. Each turned back a wound. The ballroom spun around her. Faces blurred. Music became noise. She was drowning in shame and no one would throw her a rope. "Perhaps you should stop embarrassing yourself," Lavinia said, suddenly at her side. "Everyone is staring." "I have to try," Beatrice said. "Why? What has possessed you?" But Beatrice did not answer. She saw one more possibility. Young Mr. Thornton, a country gentleman, new to London. Perhaps he had not heard the gossip yet. Perhaps he would be different. She approached him. "Mr. Thornton, might I—" "Miss Thornwell," the Duke of Ashcroft appeared between them. "Mr. Thornton has just remembered a prior engagement. Is that not correct?" The young man paled. "Yes, yes, Your Grace, most urgent. Please excuse me." He fled. Beatrice stared at the Duke. "You stopped him." "I did." "Why?" "Because this is amusing." His cold eyes showed no warmth. "Watching you try, watching you fail. It is far more entertaining than I expected." Rage flared in her chest, hot and bright. "You are a monster." "So I have been told." He did not seem bothered. "Time is running out, Miss Thornwell. Midnight approaches. It seems you will not win our wager after all." She watched in horror as he moved through the ballroom. Every man she approached, he reached first. A word in their ear, a hand on their shoulder, a look from those cold gray eyes. And each man turned away. Each man refused her. Each man left her standing alone. The Duke was destroying every chance she had, deliberately, cruelly, and he seemed to enjoy it. By 11 o'clock she had stopped trying. Her spirit broke. Her hope died. She stood in the corner where she had started, the broken fan still clutched in her hands. Tears finally spilled down her cheeks. She did not care anymore who saw. "Why?" she asked when the Duke appeared before her again. "Why would you do this to me? What have I done to deserve such cruelty?" He looked at her for a long moment. Something flickered in his eyes, something she could not name. "Go home, Miss Thornwell," he said quietly. "This game is over. You promised to help my family. I promised nothing. I offered a wager. You lost." She wanted to strike him, to scream, to make him feel even a fraction of the pain he had caused her. But she had no power, no voice, no way to hurt a man like him. "I hate you," she whispered. "Good." He turned to leave, then paused. "I will call on your father tomorrow. We have business to discuss." He was gone before she could respond, lost in the crowd, untouchable as always. And Beatrice was left with the ashes of her humiliation and the certainty that her life was about to get much worse. The Duke of Ashcroft sat in his study and stared at the fire. The flames danced and twisted, like the girl in the ballroom, trying so hard, failing so completely. He should feel satisfaction. He should feel entertained. Instead, he felt hollow. Harrison Blackwood had felt hollow for 3 years, since the day they had buried Catherine, his beautiful wife, his perfect Duchess, dead at 23, and he had not been able to save her. The guilt ate at him. The grief pressed down like stones. He had tried everything to feel something. Anything. Gambling, drinking, dangerous pursuits. Nothing worked. He was numb, empty, a walking corpse in expensive clothes. Tonight had been different. Tonight, he had wanted to see if he could still feel cruelty, if he could still feel power. So he had chosen a victim. Poor Beatrice Thornwell. Plain, desperate, easy to crush. He had crushed her. And for a moment, he had felt something. A flicker of shame. A whisper of regret. Then it was gone. Back to nothing. Back to the void. "You have become a monster," his friend Lord Hartley had told him last week. "You need to stop, to heal, to live again." But Harrison did not want to heal, did not want to live. He wanted to feel as dead on the outside as he did on the inside. Hurting others made the emptiness clear, gave it shape, gave it purpose. He thought of the girl's face, the tears on her cheeks, the hate in her eyes. Good. Let her hate him. Someone should. A knock on the door interrupted his thoughts. "Enter." His butler Matthews stepped inside. "Your Grace, you have a letter. From Lord Thornwell." Harrison took it, broke the seal, read quickly. His mouth twisted. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. The final piece falling into place. Lord Thornwell was drowning in debt, desperate, willing to do anything, including sell his daughter to save himself. The letter was flowery, full of pretty words, but the meaning was clear. The Duke could have Beatrice, in marriage, if he paid enough. Harrison should have been disgusted, a father selling his daughter like livestock. But he felt only that cold calculation, the same numbness, and a strange curiosity. What would it be like to own someone who hated him? To watch that hate every day? Would it make him feel something? Would it crack the ice around his heart? "Send a reply," he said. "Tell Lord Thornwell I accept his offer. The wedding will be in 1 week." Matthews hesitated. "Your Grace, surely you do not mean—" "I mean exactly what I said," Harrison returned to staring at the fire. "Send the letter. Make the arrangements. I will be married again before the month ends." "But Your Grace, the young lady will do as she is told, as will everyone else. Go." The butler left. Harrison remained. Outside, rain began to fall. It drummed against the windows, soft, steady, like tears, like grief, like all the things he could no longer feel. He thought of Beatrice again, her twisted hands, her broken fan, her humiliation. What had he done? What was he doing? But he pushed the questions away. It did not matter. Nothing mattered. He was empty. And soon, she would be his. Beatrice sat in the drawing room of their crumbling townhouse. The walls needed paint, The furniture was threadbare. The carpets had worn through in places. Everything showed their decline. Everything screamed their shame. "You will marry him," her father said. His voice shook, not with anger, with fear. "You will do this for the family." "He is a monster," Beatrice whispered. "He is a duke." Her stepmother's voice was sharp. "And he has agreed to pay everything, every debt, every bill. We will be saved, thanks to you. Finally, you are good for something." The words should have hurt, but Beatrice felt numb. Too much pain had worn her down. She was empty of tears, empty of fight. "What if I refuse?" she asked. Her father's face crumpled. He looked old, broken. "Then we lose the house. We lose everything. Lavinia's chances are ruined. We end up in debtor's prison, or worse. Is that what you want?" Of course not. She could never be that selfish. Even when they treated her badly. Even when they blamed her for everything. They were still her family. "I will do it," she said quietly. Her stepmother smiled. "Excellent. The wedding is in 1 week. We have much to prepare. 1 week. 7 days. Then she would belong to the Duke of Ashcroft, the man who had humiliated her, the man who had destroyed her, the man who seemed to enjoy her suffering. The days passed in a blur. Dressmakers came and went. Beatrice stood still as they pinned and measured. She felt like a doll, not real, not human, just a thing being prepared for display. Lavinia visited her room the night before the wedding. "I am sorry," her sister said. "This should not be happening to you." "But it is," Beatrice replied. "Perhaps he will be kind. Perhaps the rumors are wrong." They both knew that was a lie, but it was a gentle lie, a sisterly attempt at comfort. Beatrice appreciated it even though it changed nothing. The wedding was small, quick, impersonal. Beatrice wore a white gown that cost more than her family had spent on her in years. The Duke paid for it. The Duke paid for everything, because she was his now, his property, his burden. She spoke her vows in a voice that did not shake. She would not give him that satisfaction. Harrison spoke his in that cold, controlled tone. No emotion, no warmth, just words, just ritual. When the vicar said he could kiss his bride, Harrison leaned close. His lips brushed hers, barely a touch, more insult than affection. Then it was done. She was the Duchess of Ashcroft, and she had never felt more alone. The carriage ride to his estate was silent. Harrison sat across from her. He did not speak, did not look at her, just stared out the window as the city gave way to countryside. Beatrice watched him, this stranger, this husband, this man who held her entire future in his cold hands. Ashcroft Hall was magnificent, huge, intimidating. A palace, not a home. Servants lined up to greet them. She tried to remember their names. Mrs. Winters, the housekeeper. Mr. Matthews, the butler. Sarah, who would be her lady's maid. They all bowed and curtsied. All called her, "Your Grace," but their eyes held questions. Who was this plain woman their master had married? Why had he chosen her? "I will show you to your rooms," Harrison said. Her rooms. Not their rooms, of course. She should have expected that. He led her up a grand staircase, down a long hallway, to a suite of rooms that took her breath away. Everything was beautiful. Perfect, clean and bright, and nothing like the crumbling house she had left behind. "You will stay here," Harrison said. "My chambers are at the other end of the hall. We will not disturb each other." "I see." Her voice sounded small. "Dinner is at 8. You will be informed of my schedule each morning. When I require your presence, you will be summoned. Otherwise, you are free to do as you please." He spoke as if she were a servant, not a wife, not a partner, just another person in his household to be managed. "Is there anything else, Your Grace?" she asked. Something flickered in his eyes. "Do not expect warmth from me. Do not expect kindness. I married you because it suited me, because I was bored, because your father was desperate, not because I wanted a wife." Each word was a slap, but Beatrice kept her face calm. She would not cry, not in front of him, never in front of him. "I understand, Your Grace." "Good." He turned to leave, paused at the door. "Welcome to Ashcroft Hall, Duchess." Then he was gone, and Beatrice was alone in her beautiful rooms in her terrible new life. She sat on the bed, placed her hands in her lap, and tried to figure out how she would survive this. The days developed a pattern. Breakfast alone, mornings in the library, lunch alone, afternoons in the gardens, dinner with Harrison when he bothered to appear, otherwise alone, always alone. He barely spoke to her. When he did, his words were cold, distant. He asked no questions, showed no interest. She was furniture, a chair, a table, something that existed but did not matter. Sarah, her maid, tried to help. "His Grace was not always this way," she said one morning. "Before the first Duchess died, he was different, kinder." "What happened to her?" Beatrice asked. Sarah's face grew sad. She faded away, like a flower without sun. "Some say she died of a wasting illness. Some say she died of loneliness. The Duke loved her so much. When she passed, something in him broke. He has not been the same since. So he had loved once, and lost, and decided to never feel again." Beatrice understood that logic even as it broke her heart. She was not his wife. She was his shield, a barrier between him and the world, something to hide behind. 2 weeks passed, 3, a month. The summer heat gave way to autumn cool. Beatrice explored the house, the grounds. She found peace in the library. Thousands of books, stories of love and adventure. Things she would never have. She also found his late wife's portrait, Catherine. Beautiful beyond words. Golden hair, blue eyes, a smile like sunshine. Everything Beatrice was not. No wonder Harrison could not bear to look at her. She was a poor replacement for perfection. One evening she found him in his study. He stood by the window, a glass of whiskey in his hand. He looked tired, sad, human for once instead of cold. "Your Grace," she said softly. He turned, frowned. "What do you want?" "I came to ask if you would join me for dinner. You have been absent for 3 days." "I have been busy." "With what?" "That is none of your concern." She should have left, should have retreated, but something made her brave, or foolish. "I am your wife." "You are a burden I agreed to carry," he said. His voice was harsh. "Do not mistake our arrangement for a real marriage." "Then what is it?" "A transaction. I paid your father's debts. You provide me with an heir eventually. That is all." She flinched. "I see." "Do you?" He moved closer, too close. His eyes burned with something she could not name. "You will never be what she was. Never replace her. Never matter to me. Do you understand that?" The words cut deep, deeper than anything before, because she heard the truth in them, the absolute certainty. She was nothing, would always be nothing, not even worth cruelty, just indifference. "I understand, Your Grace." Her voice stayed steady, a small victory. "I will leave you to your grief." She turned to go. "Wait." His hand caught her arm, gentle, surprising. He stopped, released her, stepped back. "Never mind." She looked at him, really looked, and saw something in his face, a crack in the ice, a glimpse of pain. He was not cruel because he enjoyed it. He was cruel because he was drowning. and he did not know how to stop. "You do not have to be alone," she said quietly. "Yes, I do." He turned away, back to his window, his whiskey, his solitude. "Good night, Duchess." She left, but something had changed. Something small, a seed planted. She did not know if it would grow, but it was there. The next morning she woke to find a note. His handwriting, sharp, precise. "Join me for breakfast, 8 o'clock, the morning room." She arrived exactly on time. He sat at the table, reading the paper. He glanced up when she entered. "Good morning," he said. "Good morning, Your Grace." "Sit, eat." They ate in silence, but it was different than before. Less cold, less empty. He glanced at her occasionally, as if checking she was real, as if surprised by her presence. "What do you do with your days?" he asked suddenly. She blinked. "I read mostly. Walk the gardens when weather permits. I have been learning the names of all the servants. Why? Because they are people. They deserve to be known." He studied her. "You are strange. I apologize. I did not say it was bad." He returned to his paper, but something in his posture had softened, just a little. It became a ritual. Breakfast together, small conversations. Nothing deep, nothing personal, but something. Better than nothing. Better than silence. Beatrice learned things. He preferred tea to coffee. He read 3 papers every morning. He worried about his tenants, made sure their homes were sound, their children educated. He was not the monster she had thought. Or rather, he was a monster with a heart he tried to hide. She also noticed things. How his hands shook slightly some mornings. How he drank too much. How he avoided the portrait gallery. How he slept badly. She knew because she heard him pacing at night. Back and forth. Back and forth. A caged animal. One morning she set a book beside his plate. "I thought you might enjoy this." He picked it up. "Poetry?" "Lord Byron. I know it is not fashionable anymore, but I find his words beautiful." Harrison flipped through the pages. Something crossed his face. Memory. Pain. Catherine loved poetry. "I am sorry. I did not mean—" She would recite verses to me. His voice was soft, distant. "In the gardens, under the stars." She made everything beautiful. Beatrice waited. Let him speak, or not speak, whatever he needed. "I could not save her," he said. "She wanted to live. I wanted her to live. But wanting was not enough. Death came anyway, and I was powerless. Me, a duke, a man with all the wealth and power in England. And I could do nothing." "I am sorry," Beatrice said. She meant it. "Are you?" He looked at her, really looked. "Why would you be? I have been terrible to you. You have been grieving. That is no excuse." "Perhaps not, but it is a reason." He stared at her. Something shifted in his expression, the ice cracking further. "You are not what I expected." "What did you expect?" "Resentment, bitterness, demands. You have every right to all of those things. Would they help?" she asked. "No." "Then why waste energy on them?" He almost smiled. Almost. "You are very wise for someone so young." "I am 25. Hardly young." "You are young to me." He closed the book, handed it back. "Thank you for the gesture. Even if I cannot read it yet." "Yet," she repeated. "That is hopeful. Do not mistake me for a hopeful man." But there was hope. She saw it, tiny, fragile, like a candle in a storm. And she decided then that she would protect it, fan it, help it grow, not for herself, but for him, because no one should suffer alone. not even a man who had hurt her. The weeks continued. Autumn deepened. Leaves turned gold and red. The air grew crisp. Beatrice and Harrison fell into a comfortable routine. Breakfasts together, occasional walks in the gardens, dinners where they actually spoke, small steps, baby steps, but forward motion. He asked about her family. She told him. Not the good parts. There were none. But the truth. Her father's gambling, her stepmother's cruelty, Lavinia's indifference. "They sold you," he said. His voice was angry, not at her, for her. They were desperate. That does not make it right. "No," she agreed. "But I understand desperation. It makes people do terrible things." He looked at her sharply. "Are you absolving me? Should I not? I humiliated you, in front of everyone. I enjoyed it. Did you?" she asked. "Or did you want to enjoy it? Is there a difference?" He had no answer. So they walked in silence. But their arms brushed, accidentally. Neither pulled away. It was a small thing, a tiny intimacy. But it mattered. That night, she heard him pacing again. The sound pulled at her heart. She should ignore it, mind her own business, stay in her rooms. But she could not. Not anymore. She wrapped a shawl around her nightgown, padded down the cold hallway, knocked on his door. "Enter!" He stood by the fire, still dressed, as if he had never tried to sleep. He looked surprised to see her. "What are you doing here?" he asked. "I heard you, pacing. I thought perhaps you might want company." "I am not fit for company at this hour." "Then I will sit quietly. You need not speak to me." She settled into a chair, close enough to be present, far enough to not intrude. She brought her book, began to read, not aloud, just silently, being there. Harrison watched her. She felt his eyes, but she did not look up, did not pressure, just existed in the same space. After a while, his pacing stopped. He sat in the other chair, poured himself a drink, stared at the fire. They sat like that for an hour, 2, not speaking, just being. It was the most intimate moment of her life, more intimate than any kiss, more connecting than any touch. They were sharing his pain, acknowledging it, not running from it. "Why are you being kind to me?" he asked finally. His voice was hoarse. "Because you need kindness," she said simply. "I do not deserve it." "Perhaps not, but you need it anyway." He looked at her. His eyes were wet, not quite crying, but close. "I do not know how to stop hurting." "Then do not stop. Hurt, feel, live." That is what she would want. You did not know her. No, but I know love. And love does not want the beloved to suffer forever. A tear slipped down his cheek. Just one. He brushed it away roughly. "I am broken." "Then be broken. That is allowed. Not for a duke. For a man." He stared at her. Then, slowly, he reached out, took her hand. His grip was tight, almost painful. But she did not pull away. She held on, an anchor in his storm. They sat like that until dawn, hand in hand, not speaking, just being together in the darkness. When light finally came through the windows, he released her. "Thank you," he said. "Any time, Your Grace." "Harrison. Call me Harrison." It was the first time he had offered his name, the first real intimacy. She smiled. "Harrison." He nodded. "I will try, to be better, to do better." That is all anyone can ask. She returned to her rooms, exhausted, but lighter somehow, hopeful. They had crossed a bridge, a small one, but significant. And she thought maybe, just maybe, things could change. She was right. Things did change. Slowly, gradually. Harrison began to open up. Not all at once, not dramatically, but in small ways. He smiled sometimes, laughed once at something she said, joined her for tea, asked her opinion on estate matters. He also began to notice her. Really notice, not as furniture, as a person, a woman. His wife. "You have a lovely laugh," he said one afternoon. She blushed. "I did not know you paid attention." "I am beginning to." He noticed other things too, how she helped the servants, how she visited the tenants, how she organized a school for their children, how she brought life to his dead house. "You are transforming this place," he said one evening. "I am just living in it," she replied. "No, you are making it a home." I had forgotten what that felt like. His eyes held warmth now. Not always, not consistently, but more often. The ice was melting, the walls were crumbling, and underneath was a man she was beginning to care for, deeply. She tried not to, tried to protect her heart, but it was impossible. He was broken and beautiful and trying so hard to heal. How could she not love that? How could she not love him? But she kept it secret, did not speak it. He was not ready, might never be ready. So she loved him silently, quietly, in the way she poured his tea, chose his favorite foods, made his house warm, gave him space to grieve and heal. One day, she found him in the portrait gallery, standing before Catherine's painting. His face was sad but not devastated, soft but not broken. She was beautiful, Beatrice said. She was. He did not look away from the portrait. "I loved her with everything I had." "I know. I thought I would die when she did. Wanted to, even. But you did not." "No." He turned to her. "I did not. And recently, I have been grateful for that. Because if I had died, I would never have known you." Her breath caught. "Harrison, let me finish." He stepped closer. "You came into my life as a punishment, a consequence of my own cruelty. But you have become something else, something precious. I do not deserve you, I know that. But I find myself wanting you anyway, needing you. Is that wrong?" "No." Her voice trembled. "That is not wrong. I cannot promise to love you the way I loved her. That love died with her. But I can offer something new, something different, something that is ours alone. Would that be enough?" Tears spilled down her cheeks. "That would be everything." He reached up, wiped her tears. His touch was gentle, reverent. "You are crying." "Because I am happy. I have made you cry many times, but never from happiness. I like this better." She laughed through her tears. He smiled. Then, slowly, carefully, he leaned down. His lips met hers. Not like their wedding kiss. Not cold, not distant, but warm, seeking, real. Beatrice melted into him. Her hands found his shoulders, his arms wrapped around her waist. The kiss deepened, softened, became everything she had dreamed of and more. When they finally pulled apart, they were both breathless. "Beatrice," he whispered. "Yes. I think I am falling in love with you. I know I am falling in love with you." He held her close. His heart beat against hers. Strong, steady, alive. "What do we do now?" "We live," she said. Together, as we should have from the beginning. I wasted so much time. Then we will not waste any more. They stood together in the portrait gallery, in front of the past, but looking toward the future. And for the first time in 3 years, Harrison felt whole. Not because he had forgotten Catherine, but because he had room for both grief and love, both past and present, both what he had lost and what he had found. The next weeks were like a dream. Harrison courted her properly, the way he should have from the start. He brought her flowers, took her riding, danced with her in the ballroom when no one was watching, read poetry to her under the stars. "You are spoiling me," she said one evening. "I am making up for lost time." "You do not have to." "I want to." He kissed her temple. "I want to give you everything I denied you, everything you deserve." She turned in his arms. "I already have everything. I have you." His eyes darkened with emotion. "How are you real? How did I find you?" "You did not find me. You bought me, remember?" "Do not remind me. That is my greatest shame." "Then let it go. We are here now. That is what matters." He kissed her, deep and long. When they pulled apart, he rested his forehead against hers. "Move into my chambers. Be my wife in truth, please." "Yes," she breathed. That night she moved her things. Sarah helped her. The maid was smiling. "The whole house is talking, Your Grace, about how happy the Duke is, how he smiles now, how he lives again. You did that." "We did that," Beatrice corrected. "Together." She was nervous as she entered his chambers, but he was gentle, patient. He loved her slowly, carefully, made her feel precious, wanted, cherished. Afterward, they lay tangled together. His fingers traced patterns on her skin. "I never thought I would feel this again," he said. "Joy, peace, hope." "Neither did I," she admitted. "We are quite a pair, two broken people piecing each other back together. I like our pieces. They fit well." He laughed, pulled her closer. "I love you, Beatrice Blackwood, my Duchess, my wife, my salvation." "I love you too, my Harrison, my husband, my home." They fell asleep like that, wrapped in each other, safe, happy, complete. The shadows of the past were still there, would always be there, but they no longer controlled the present. Love had won. Light had returned, and neither of them would ever be alone again. But happiness is fragile, and the world is cruel. 3 months into their joy, a letter arrived. Beatrice opened it at breakfast. Her face went pale. "What is it?" Harrison asked. "My stepmother. She is coming to visit. With Lavinia. Then they can visit. What is the problem?" Beatrice looked at him. "They will try to ruin this, to take you from me. Lavinia is beautiful, perfect, everything I am not. What if—" "Stop." He took her hands. "Nothing and no one could take me from you. Do you understand? You are my choice, my only choice. But, no buts. Let them come. Let them try. They will fail. I promise you that." She wanted to believe him, tried to, but old fears are hard to kill. What if he saw Lavinia and realized what he was missing? What if her family poisoned him against her? What if everything she had found was taken away? The visit was scheduled for the following week. Beatrice spent the time in knots. Harrison watched her with concern. He tried to reassure her, to comfort her, but she could not shake the dread. When the day arrived, her family swept in like a storm. Her stepmother was all false smiles and flattery. Lavinia was stunning in a pink gown that made her look like an angel. Beatrice felt plain beside her, invisible, just like always. "Your Grace, how wonderful to see you again," her stepmother gushed. "And Beatrice, you look, well, adequately settled." The insult was subtle, but clear. Harrison's jaw tightened. "Welcome to Ashcroft Hall," he said coldly. "I trust your journey was pleasant." "Oh, very much so, though nothing compared to the grandeur of your home. Beatrice is so fortunate. Some might say unexpectedly so." Beatrice felt the old shame creeping back, the old doubts. But Harrison's hand found hers under the table. A reminder, a promise. She held on. Dinner was torture. Her stepmother dominated conversation. Lavinia smiled and charmed. They directed all their attention to Harrison, flattered him, praised him, ignored Beatrice completely, as if she did not exist. "Tell me, Your Grace," Lavinia said sweetly, "do you enjoy dancing? I remember you were quite skilled, unlike some people." She glanced at Beatrice. The message was clear. Harrison saw it too. "I enjoy dancing with my wife," he said firmly. "She is an excellent partner." Lavinia's smile faltered. "Oh, of course, how lovely." But she did not give up. None of them did. For 3 days they worked to undermine Beatrice, to make her feel small, to drive a wedge between her and Harrison. They told stories of her failures, her plainness, her unworthiness. They praised Lavinia constantly, suggested she should visit more often, hinted that perhaps mistakes could be corrected. Beatrice grew quieter each day. The old shadows returned. She began to doubt, to wonder. What if they were right? What if she was not enough? What if Harrison regretted his choice? On the 3rd night, she found her stepmother alone in the library. "You do not belong here," the woman said. Her voice was venomous. "You are a sparrow in a peacock's nest. He will tire of you. He already is. I see how he looks at Lavinia, with interest, with desire, the same way he looked at his first wife." "That is not true," Beatrice whispered. "Is it not? You have always been the plain one, the unwanted one. That has not changed. No amount of fancy dresses and titles will make you worthy of a man like him. He deserves better. Someone beautiful, someone perfect, someone like Lavinia." The words struck deep, hit all the old wounds, all the old fears. Beatrice felt herself crumbling, shattering. She had been foolish to hope, to believe, to love. "Perhaps you are right," she said quietly. Her stepmother smiled, a cold, victorious smile. "Finally, you see sense. You should leave. Return to your proper place. Let Lavinia take what was always meant to be hers." Beatrice fled. She ran through the hallways, up to her old rooms, the ones she had abandoned when she moved in with Harrison. She locked the door, collapsed on the bed, and let the tears come, great heaving sobs that shook her whole body. She had been stupid, so stupid, to think she could keep him, to think she was enough. She was the same plain, unwanted girl she had always been. Nothing had changed. She was still worthless, still unlovable, still a burden. Harrison found her there. He pounded on the door. "Beatrice, open this door." "Go away." "Never. Open it now. Please, just leave me alone. I am giving you 10 seconds, then I am breaking it down." He would too. She knew he would. So she opened it, stood there with tears streaming down her face, her eyes swollen, her heart broken. "What happened?" he demanded. "Nothing. Do not lie to me. What did they say to you?" "The truth," her voice cracked. "I am not enough. I will never be enough. You should send me away. Choose someone better." His face went dark with rage. "Who told you that?" "Everyone. My stepmother, society, the world, even you, once." "I was wrong," he grabbed her shoulders. Not roughly, but firmly. "I was so wrong. You are everything. Everything I need. everything I want. Do you hear me? But Lavinia is nothing to me. She is a stranger. You are my wife, my love, my life. She is beautiful. So are you. She is perfect. So are you. To me. I am plain, unwanted, worthless. No. He cupped her face, made her look at him. You are beautiful, wanted, precious beyond measure. And I will spend the rest of my life proving that to you if I must. Why? She sobbed. Why do you want me? Because you saved me. Because you loved me when I was unlovable. Because you see me. The real me. Not the title, not the wealth. Me. And I see you too. The real you. The woman who is kind and brave and strong. The woman I choose, every day, over everyone, over everything. You mean it? I swear it. On my life, on my soul. You are mine, and I am yours. Nothing will change that. She collapsed against him. He held her, stroked her hair, whispered promises and love. She cried until there were no tears left, until the storm passed, until she could breathe again. I am sorry, she whispered. Never apologize for feeling. Never apologize for being hurt. But know this. I will destroy anyone who tries to take you from me, including your family. What will you do? You will see. He led her downstairs, to the drawing room where her family waited. They looked up as he entered, smug, confident, certain of their victory. You are leaving, Harrison said. His voice was ice. Now. Tonight. Her stepmother blinked. Your Grace, surely. I am not finished. You are leaving, and you are never returning. If you contact my wife again, I will destroy you, financially, socially, completely. Do you understand? You cannot mean, I mean every word. You have poisoned her, hurt her, made her doubt herself. I will not tolerate it. You sold her to save yourselves, but she is not yours anymore. She is mine, and I protect what is mine. Lavinia looked frightened. Your Grace, we only meant... I do not care what you meant. You will leave, now. Matthews will escort you out. Her father spoke up. But the debts are paid. That deal is done. You have no claim here, no power. Beatrice owes you nothing. Not loyalty, not love, not even politeness. She is free of you. Forever. He turned to Beatrice, took her hand, kissed it. Is that acceptable to you, my love? She stared at him, then at her family. They looked shocked, defeated, small. For once in her life she had power, and someone who would use his power for her. Yes, she said firmly. That is acceptable. They were gone within the hour. Beatrice watched their carriage disappear into the night. She felt lighter, freer, as if chains she had worn her whole life had finally broken. Are you well? Harrison asked. I am better than well. I am free. He pulled her close. You always were. You just needed to believe it. I believe it now. Because of you. No, because of you. I just reminded you of what was always true. They returned inside, to their chambers, to their bed. He made love to her tenderly, showed her with every touch how much she mattered, how much she was loved. And when they lay tangled together afterward, she knew she would never doubt again. Harrison. Yes, my love. Thank you for choosing me, for fighting for me, for loving me. Always, Beatrice, always. Winter came to Ashcroft Hall. Snow covered the grounds, fires blazed in every hearth, and inside, love kept them warm. Beatrice had never been happier. She woke each morning in Harrison's arms. They took breakfast together, managed the estate together, lived together, loved together. It was everything she had never dared to dream. "I have something to tell you," she said one morning. He looked up from his paper. "What is it?" "I am with child." His face went blank. Then joy flooded in, pure, complete joy. He was around the table in an instant, pulling her to her feet, holding her close. "A child," he breathed. "Yes, in the summer." "Beatrice." He kissed her, deep and long. When he pulled back, his eyes were wet. "Thank you. Thank you for giving me this, for giving me everything. We did this together. Yes, together, as we will do everything from now on." The pregnancy progressed easily. Harrison was attentive, protective, almost too much so. He hovered, worried, made sure she rested, made sure she ate, made sure she was happy. "I am not made of glass," she laughed one day. "I know, but you are carrying something precious. I will not take chances. You are sweet. I am terrified, but yes, also sweet." She understood his fear. He had lost one wife. The thought of losing another paralyzed him. So she was patient. Let him fuss. Let him worry. Showed him every day that she was strong, that she would survive, that their child would too. Spring came, then summer, and on a warm July morning their daughter was born. She came easily, quickly, a perfect little thing with dark hair and gray eyes like her father. "She is beautiful," Harrison whispered. Tears streamed down his face. "She is perfect." "Just like us," Beatrice said, exhausted but radiant. "What shall we name her?" "Catherine Beatrice, for both mothers, past and present." He looked at her. "Are you certain?" "I am. She was part of your life, part of who you are. Our daughter should honor that." "You are too good to me. I love you, that is all." He kissed her, then kissed their daughter. "I love you both, more than life, more than anything." They were a family now, complete, whole, happy. The house filled with laughter and light, with baby sounds and joy, with love that grew stronger every day. One evening, they sat in the nursery, watching their daughter sleep. Harrison held Beatrice close. "Do you remember that night?" he asked. "At the ball, when I dared you to dance." "How could I forget? I was such a fool, such a cruel, stupid fool. You were grieving. That is no excuse. I hurt you, terribly. And then you loved me, completely. One erases the other." "Does it?" "Yes." She turned to look at him. "You gave me everything. A home, a family, a love I never thought possible. You made me believe I was worthy, that I mattered. That is what I will remember. Not the pain, the love. I do not deserve you. Perhaps not, but you have me anyway." He smiled, kissed her softly. "I will spend every day of my life being grateful for that." "As will I." They sat in comfortable silence. Their daughter slept peacefully. Outside, stars filled the sky. The same stars that had watched them begin. The same stars that watched them now. Different people. Better people. Healed people. "Harrison?" "Yes, my love." "If you could go back, to that night at the ball, would you change anything?" He thought for a moment. "No, because every terrible thing led us here, to this moment, to this life, to each other. I would not trade that, not for anything. Neither would I." And that was the truth. The pain had been real. The suffering had been deep. But it had forged them, made them strong, made them worthy of the love they had found. They were not perfect, would never be perfect, but they were perfect for each other. Years would pass, Their daughter would grow. Other children would come. The house would fill with life and laughter. And through it all, their love would remain. Constant, strong, unbreakable. Because real love does not begin with perfection. It begins with brokenness, with two shattered souls finding each other in the dark. With healing, with choice, with the decision to love despite the pain, despite the past, despite everything that says it should not work. Beatrice had been told she was unwanted, unworthy, unlovable, and she had believed it. Until Harrison showed her different. Until he chose her, fought for her, loved her with everything he had. And Harrison had been dead inside, empty, a ghost haunting his own life. Until Beatrice brought him back, showed him that grief and love could coexist, that he could honor the past while embracing the future, that he could live again. They saved each other. That is what love does. It saves, it heals, it transforms. And that night at the ball, when he dared her to dance, he set in motion a love story neither of them expected. A love story that would become legend, that would inspire, that would endure. Because the best love stories are not about perfection. They are about redemption. About two broken people becoming whole. About darkness giving way to light. About a dance that was never danced, but led to a lifetime of dancing together. And so they lived, and so they loved. Happily ever after. Not because it was easy, but because it was worth it.